My name is Seth Williams, and this is my co-host, Michael James, and we're really happy to be here this morning. We thought we'd start out by just telling you a little bit about ourselves and our connection to this great city. I have to say that I love Boston. I was born in Jamaica Plain, raised in Hyde Park, graduated from Copley International here at the Snowden, and I work for John Hancock. And I have to tell you that when I was going to high school in Copley, I had no idea what John Hancock was, what they did. They were just this tall glass tower in the city. And I've been working there now for 10 years. And I gotta say that I have had some proud moments working for John Hancock. They are committed to the city, they're committed to this program, and I've never been happier than standing up here before you. I never thought, all these years later, that I would be standing here talking to a great group of Boston public school students. So happy to be here, and with that, I'd like to turn it over to Mike.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Come on, give me a little more than that. Good morning, everyone. Hey, there you go. Now you're awake. My name is Mike James. I'm from Roxbury, Massachusetts, born and raised. I'm a former METCO student. I'm an alumni of John Hancock. I spent 15 years at John Hancock, and I started as an intern. And so I'm here for the second year. Last year, some of you will get to the returning members of the Scholars Program a little later in the session. But I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for your commitment to the organization and for being here and giving it 100%. So with that said, congratulations on the 2019 Scholars Program and your admission to it. This is the 12th year of the program. It's an incredible program. 650 youth are a part of the program this year that will fan out across 58 nonprofit agencies across the city.
You know, math was not my strong suit in high school, but looking at those numbers, that's 5,000 youth that have been impacted over the last 12 years. That's 7,000 jobs. That is impressive. You know, I mentioned working at John Hancock. They've been in the city, they've been around for 150 years, and their commitment to the city is so key. It's what drew me to them. And when you look at this program, the MLK Scholars Program is one of the most important and powerful programs that John Hancock supports to make this city a better place. So very happy to be here, and I'm glad to see you all here today.
Listen, your voices are really, really important. You may not know just how important, but right now the city needs you. The city needs you to stand tall. The city needs you to move through programs like this to make not only the city and the world a better place.
The MLK Scholars Program is actually the largest privately funded summer jobs program in the country. The partnerships that are brought together here set the pace for other cities and how the private industry can support their communities. In fact, here in Boston, John Hancock is working with the mayor and his team, Boston University, Partners Healthcare, and the Boston Globe to continually improve and develop this program for you. And we wouldn't go forward without thanking Teen Empowerment and Boston Cares for helping us run this amazing program today.
So here's how the summer's going to work. Each of you is working at one of 58 MLK-funded nonprofits to support its mission. We urge you to do everything you can to help them and your community. In addition, you will be joining us here at Agganis Arena today and 2 other times this summer. Today, we will be exploring how networking skills can help transform your lives.
So after we learn about networking today, we'll be back here next week on July 26th, and we're going to talk about financial planning and ways to break through barriers to help you face and achieve the goals that are in front of you. 2 weeks after that, on Friday, August 10th, we'll meet here to discuss how decisions are made in society and how you can use your voice to influence those decisions. So we have a lot of great tools and skills and information that you're going to receive over these 3 days. Then finally, on August 16th, we'll be meeting at the Sportsman Tennis Arena in Dorchester, the Sportsman Tennis Club, excuse me, in Dorchester. And we're gonna hold the first ever MLK Expo and summer celebration, celebrating our communities. So let's talk about today's agenda, and it's packed for you. We are going to be, and I lost my place. It's so big, I lost it on the page. Isn't that great?
Yeah, you're all right.
I don't like paper.
I don't like paper.
Sustainability. In a moment, we're going to be hearing from 2 MLK Youth Council members who will lead us through an exercise and tell us what the Youth Council is doing this summer. We're going to hear from the president and CEO of John Hancock and the mayor of this great city. And then we're going to hear from a few people who will be talking about the barriers they faced on an incredible program. After that, we're going to move over to the other side of the room, back to the tables, and folks from the Youth Enrichment Services, I was told I should refer to them as YES. We are going to hear from them, and they are going to lead us through some exercises that will help us learn how to use our networks, as Mike mentioned, so that we can overcome barriers in our lives as well. And finally, we will evaluate today's session, and we'll be back next week to learn more.
So let me talk to you a little bit about expectations and the goals for hosting these forums: to create community among 650 of you, and to take time to listen to leaders from diverse backgrounds and communities, and also to celebrate your victories. That's a big part of why you're going to be here. We intend to have a great time this summer, and all we ask of you is to remember that you're here to, this is a part of your job. And part of your job is to listen, learn, and share your thoughts and opinions, respectfully with your peers and the adults involved in the program. Diversity of thoughts and opinions really matter and command your respect. I'm going to say it again. Diversity of thoughts and opinions commands your respect. That is the key to this program becoming a true success. Remember that many people who will be helping run this program and volunteers are here for your benefit. So please express your appreciation. Now let's get a quick idea of who's here with us. So now I need you to participate a little bit. It's been a little formal. So I'm going to ask you to stretch your legs a little bit in a few seconds. So if you're a part of the 58 nonprofit partners, please stand. Round of applause. Here we go. All right. That was kind of a weak applause, but we'll get to some better applauses. Stand up if you're affiliated with John Hancock, BU, the Boston Globe, the City of Boston, Teen Empowerment, and Boston Cares. Show them some love. Come on. Little better, little better. Y'all still haven't woke up yet. What'd they give you on the other side? All right. No espresso. Stand up if you're a volunteer. Hey, all right, all right, all right. That's a little better, little better. All right. If you are a returning scholar, stand up. Make some noise. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, last but certainly not least, if you're a new scholar, stand up. Oh my God. Come on, bigger round of applause. Come on, come on. This is what it's all about. All right, Sam.
That is definitely a way to wake them up, Mike.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, we talked about the agenda today, so we're going to kick it right off. We've received your feedback, especially the returning scholars. We want to always hear better ways to improve this. You may notice some changes from the previous years. The food service, less waste. The youth council we mentioned is here. More voice from the youth. So if you see something in this program that you think could be done better, something that we could improve on, an idea that you have, please share it. Don't hesitate. So to start off with that feedback, we'd like to welcome up 2 members of the MLK Youth Council.
Oh, okay, okay. Good morning. How y'all doing? Okay. You want to introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi, I'm Helen. Hi. Good
Word,
morning.
word. Yeah, Helen. I'm Onyx, and hey, what's up? How you doing? Um, and basically, we're both members of the new John Hancock Youth Council. You know what I'm saying? Something new, something slight. You know what I'm saying? And basically, right, what we're here to do is basically represent the voice of the youth, and especially the voice in youth in our community, and how all of you guys can get the best out of this program, and basically just get all the resources that you really need. Does that make sense? Word. Let's go, everybody.
Yes, we get to speak on issues, important issues like youth jobs, immigrations, violence, education, and many other topics. And we also have the chance to help lead these sessions. We are excited to have the opportunity to help this a great summer for y'all.
Yeah, and a great summer is going to be, just as Seth and Mike mentioned. Today, we're actually going to be talking about networking and how basically you use networking to get the most out of your life. Then on the third session, nope, sorry, can't count sometimes, it's early, you know what I'm saying? On the next session, which is the second session, right, we'll be talking about financial issues and how to manage finance. And then on the third session, that's when basically we're going to be talking about civic engagement, basically kind of what we're doing right now, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to be involved, trying to make stuff happen. And then the last session, which is the most important, I better see all these beautiful faces there. Because what's going to happen on the last session is we're going to have this big old function at the Sportsman Club in Dorchester, and it's basically going to show all of our achievements and everything that we've done in the past summer. And so I want to see y'all there. There's also going to be space for talent and to show your ideas and to bring that love energy, that camaraderie.
Yes, speaking of energy, we're gonna get you energized by engaging you in an activity we call Onyx, or Helen Says. So this is how it works. When I say Helen Says, like Helen says, put your hands on your head, you do it. But if I leave the early part says side and I say something else, you don't do it. And if you do, you're out.
Word. So,
Out
and
of the game.
it's basically the same thing for me, except I'm not Helen, as you could clearly see. So it just be Onyx Says, you know what I'm saying? And if I don't say Onyx Says, but then you do the action, then you're out. I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
Okay, so if we could get started, if you all would stand up so we could get going. Got y'all. You're out. Got y'all. See what happened there?
Yeah, I think we should give another chance. One more time. We're going to try it again.
Helen says everyone should stand up.
That's what I'm talking about, okay?
Yeah. Okay. Now we're gonna get a little bit more into the mood. Okay, Helen says put your hands on your head. Do this. Okay. Helen says put your hands here. No one yet? Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna move it on to Onyx.
I'm about to get y'all. Okay. So real quick, you know what I'm saying? I remember doing this early in the morning, you know what I'm saying? You got to get the crust out your eyes, get the rust off your body. So Onyx says, everybody shake the rust off your body. Just
Come on, shake,
really
shake,
just get in there, Right. Onyx says stop. All right. Onyx says put your hands up like this. Now put your hands down.
Gotcha.
What I tell y'all? All right. Onyx says, spin around one time. Now spin around the other time. Oh, I got stuck. Okay. All right, word. Onyx says, everyone have a seat, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, one more order. Onyx said, Onyx says, can you put your hands down, please? Oh, thank you. All right. Onyx says, can we have all the members of the youth council please come up and introduce yourselves and tell us what program you're from? Yeah, clap it up. Come on, these beautiful faces. Woo, yeah, baby. Oh my goodness. Oh, check you out. Go ahead. You want to run it down? Run the mic down? I got you. You want to do it? Okay. The stage is a little small, but we're going to work it out just in 2 seconds. All right, where? Y'all want, come on, make some room. Come on. You trying to get up here? All right, where? All right, we're going to start down here.
Hi, my name is Darlie Phils, and I'm from the Box Center.
Hi, my name is Nivea, and I'm from HSTF.
Hi, my name is Serge, and I'm from the Box Center.
Hi, my name is Deshaun, and I'm from the Museum of Science.
Hi, my name is Kitty. I'm from the UMass Foundation.
Hi, I'm Cleeton. I work for Boston Partners in Education.
Hi, my name is Carrie, and I work at Teen Empowerment.
Hi, my name is Lilybeth, and I work for Girls Leap.
My name is Kamar. I'm from MPDC.
My name is JC. I work for MPDC.
My name is Miguel Cabrera. I work for the Center for Teen Empowerment.
Thank you.
You can say, you want to introduce yourself real quick? Just where you from?
Oh, I'm Helen Adeyemo, and I'm from the UMass Foundation.
Yeah, word. And I'm Onyx real quick, and I'm from Teen Empowerment. Teen Empowerment, woo! Yeah, all right, y'all could go now. Thank you, guys. Oh, yeah, I said. Thank you. You get some hustle. Just a little. All right. Thank you, everybody, for participating in that exercise. I know it's probably a little uncomfortable for some of y'all. Basically, what that exercise was highlighting was basically that a lot of times in society and in life, you need to figure out when to follow, when not to follow, and when to be a leader. And in order for us to make the changes that we want to see in our community and get the things that we want out of life, we have to take those steps in learning how to become a leader. And so today, one of those steps will be learning how to network. And networking will help you become a leader. So, yeah.
Once again, thank you everyone for your participation. This is what the summer is going to be about, and your participation is what is going to make the world a better place, and everything you can to reach your dreams. We urge you to take advantage of all the opportunities around you throughout the summer.
Yeah, let's go. Thank you, and have a great summer. Woo!
Character.
That was awesome. Well, thank you so much, Helen and Onyx and the Youth Council. Guys, I mentioned earlier, or I've mentioned several times, I work at John Hancock. And I have the honor of introducing, though, somebody really important, our president and CEO. To give you a sense of how important she is, she's my boss's boss's boss. Yet, despite her seniority, I've had the opportunity to meet her 4 times in the past year and have great interactions with her. She's accessible, she's transparent, she's an inclusive leader who cares deeply about building a healthier and more equitable city. So please join me in welcoming Mary Ann Harrison.
Thank you, Seth, very much. It's great to be here with all of you, with my colleagues from John Hancock, and Tom Samolak is here as well. It's wonderful to be here to be a part of this program with you. I know Mike and Seth were saying where they were from here in Boston, and I'm sitting in the chair thinking, well, I'm Canadian, so how do I bring that into the story? But I am Canadian, and I love your city. Boston is just such an awesome city. And I just wanted to say that you guys are the future leaders of this wonderful city and something you should be very excited about. You know, John Hancock believes so strongly in this program that we're actually contributing over $1 million each and every year for the MLK Scholars Program. That's how much it means to us. And we've been doing this for over 12 years. So it's a great program, and we are so happy that you can be a part of it. You know, MLK Scholars really is a win-win opportunity. It's great for each and every one of you because it gives you work experience and it gets you ready for the workforce, and that having that employment experience behind you is really wonderful to have. It's also a great connection to the city, so it's a great opportunity for you to be able to give back to the city as well. And hopefully you can take that with you as you continue on your career and make sure that you always think of the city as you move forward. It's also a wonderful opportunity for our not-for-profit organizations because they get to help sponsor youth, and it also helps them move their mission forward. And then it's just great for the city because we're creating people for the future, so employees for the future, which I think is a great opportunity for everybody. You know, this program for John Hancock is a really sort of center of our corporate responsibility strategy. It's something that's very important to us because it really helps us move the needle on diversity and inclusion, which is a really important topic that we are always discussing at Hancock and really trying to figure out how do we move that needle forward, and it's great to be able to do that. You know, this summer, I hope that all of you really get the most out of this program. You know, you need to be committed to it and you really want to get a lot out of it. You're going to have great networking opportunities, an opportunity to build relationships, and some of those relationships may last for many, many years to come. But really take the opportunity to get the most out of it. Really think about it from your perspective, what's important to you, what you want to do. Set some goals for yourself and then try and help to start to achieve those goals. I think it's a great opportunity, and please make the most out of it. And as I said, I'm very happy that you're all here. I'm confident that you're going to learn a lot from the program and that you will build a lot of networks and relationships. And I'm confident you'll also realize your full potential. So with that, enjoy the rest of today and enjoy the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marianne. Thank you, Marianne. I think this next session they're going to be doing some moving around, but while they're doing that, I just want to make a couple comments. Onyx, where are you? Listen, man, that energy, I wish I could bottle it up and take it with me. Let's give Onyx a hand. He did a great job of kind of firing things up. You both did a phenomenal job. Thank you so much. So we're going to shift gears, and I'm going to have 4 guests join me on the stage for a panel discussion. So while we're doing that, there's going to be some moving around. We're going to get them up. I think the mayor's going to be here a little later in the morning. So without further ado, will my panelists please join me, and then we'll get you introduced shortly. Let's give them a hand. Ready to go? We need some music or something while all this is going on, right? Put the music on. Let me get them going. No music? No music now. All right. I can't do what Onyx did. One more round of applause, and then we get started. So this panel is going to focus heavily on networks. And you're going to understand from multiple perspectives what networks do and how important they are along your journey. I will say, before I get into the introductions of folks, I want you to know I'm an alumni of John Hancock. I'm a graduate of American International College, class of 1994. That's a long time ago. But what I want you to know, the networks that I started with as an intern back in 1991, when I came into the business, are still riding with me today. Those are some of my best friends in life. Those are folks that have helped me along my journey. They're folks that I've helped them in turn. And so I just want you to know, while you're sitting there trying to figure out where's all this going, I want you to pay attention to these stories. Pay attention to the parts of the stories that may relate directly to you. They were chosen for a reason, not because they've got financial wealth or they've got the wherewithal that they don't need to be here. They're actually still along their journey, and they're here to share it with you. So without further ado, I'm going to ask each of the panelists to just do your 1 minute. You promised me 1 minute, a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you're doing now. And we'll start with you.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jaquel Sneed. I currently serve as the Director of Boston Programs at the Center for Teen Empowerment. Whoop, whoop, teen empowerment. Similar to Marianne, I did not grow up here in Boston, but it has become my new home. I grew up in North Carolina, came here originally for college, where I attended Harvard University. Then after that, taught for 3 years, and then came back because obviously I couldn't get Massachusetts or Boston out of my system. So I came back and joined the staff of the Center for Teen Empowerment. I am just so happy to see everybody in the room today, and just hope that y'all learned something from this networking panel and session today.
Fantastic. You can pass your mic down. There you go.
You don't want to give a politician a mic and say 1 minute.
One minute.
My name's Andy Vargas. I'm a state representative for the 3rd Essex District. I represent the city of Haverhill, Massachusetts. I went to Boston University, spent a lot of time here in Boston. Come from a big, loud Dominican family. Any Dominicans in the room? Okay. Plátano power. It is so good to be here with you all. I got my start in politics when I was 16 years old as a part of a statewide coalition called Teens Leading the Way that brings young people together from across Boston, but also our gateway cities across the Commonwealth, and ask them what type of policy they want to work on at the State House. So if you want to talk about that later, feel free to hit me up. And just really excited to be here and share some insights.
You did a great job, Congressman.
I think he kept it to a minute, too. My name is Natasha Barrientos. I was born in Brighton. I'm here to represent Guatemalans, Cubans, anybody? Hey, yes? Ya tu sabe. I'm the Director of Research and Development at John Hancock. Also super excited to be here with you all today. I'm looking forward to our discussion.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Catherine Melanson. I am born and raised in Boston, grew up in Charlestown. I am with Partners Healthcare and currently work in HR as a talent acquisition partner. I've kind of had the unique experience of being with Partners through every internship, summer job, and eventually into my role that I'm in right now. So I've been with them the whole time. And I just recently served as the president of our Young Professionals group. So I'm just really excited to meet all of you today and talk about our experiences.
Thank you. All right, so let's get in a little deeper around their backgrounds and their experiences. So this is an open question. Jaquel, we're going to start with you. What are some of the items you had to navigate or you faced when you were younger, and in terms of how you used your network? So things you had to navigate and how you use your network to navigate those items.
So I won't belabor the points of.
He'll get it on.
Hello? Oh,
There you
there
go.
we go. All righty. So I won't belabor the points of, going through the world as a woman, as a Black woman, as some of you have already experienced as people of color in the room, those are a lot of barriers that come with that. One thing in particular, however, that I feel like I've dealt with since I was a young person is this concept of what is called imposter syndrome. And it's this idea that when you're in spaces, you feel like an imposter, like you don't belong in those spaces, like you're not good enough to be in those spaces. And I dealt with a lot of that growing up. I didn't feel like I deserved to be in the programs that I got into or the college I got into. And what has been most helpful is that I've had a lot of mentors throughout my life who have continued to speak to my power in a space, that have continued to speak to what I can do and accomplish. And I think it has meant so much to me that most of the places that I've gotten to in life, whether it be college, whether it be my job here, well, not here, but at Teen Empowerment, have been because of mentors that have been in my life that I've kept up with throughout different stages. My first job going into teaching came from a mentor that I've had since middle school. My job here at Teen Empowerment came through a mentor that I've had since undergrad and college. And so really having people around me who are able to affirm my voice and my presence in spaces has really helped me to navigate throughout my life.
Thank you. We'll come back to that term mentor in a little bit later in the program. Congressman.
Thank you for the promotion. I wish I was a congressman, but state representative.
State rep.
Yeah, but I just want to uplift that point about imposter syndrome because it is so real, and you'll all feel it at one point or another. I spent 6 months interning at the White House, and for the first 2 weeks, I walked in and I had my head down, kept my profile low, was just working hard, and in my head, I was saying, all right, nobody here can figure out how dumb I am that they let me be an intern here. And that's a real feeling that we feel sometimes, but realize that you're supposed to be there. You earned that right to be there. You worked sometimes twice as hard as others to be there. So I just wanted to uplift that excellent point. Other challenges faced, growing up in Haverhill, I was the only Latino student in my AP and honors classes. About 35% of our student population is Latino. So I was always kind of living in two worlds, right? I didn't really fit in with my peers in my AP and honors classes, but then I wasn't hood enough for everybody else. So there was like, I was in two camps trying to figure it out, and it created lots of social pressures that today is a blessing because now I'm able to navigate both worlds. And many of you might relate with that story and just know that the challenges that you're having right now are going to be blessings later on because you'll know how to navigate both systems, both cultures to be able to actually move your mission forward. And then lastly, I'll just say is cultivate authentic relationships with people. Not everything has to be about what this person can do for me or what I can do for them. Ask questions. Be curious about your peers that are around you here as well as in the workplace. The more curious and the more authentic you could be in developing relationships, the better it pays off over time. So that's what I would add.
Great point.
Yeah, I will piggyback off of these two and third that with the imposter syndrome. I definitely still feel it. Honestly, to this day, it's something that you will battle all the time. It ebbs and flows. But again, just to reaffirm, you are here, you are in that space and place for a reason. So don't doubt yourself and don't be the one to block your own entry through a door. Something that's helped me, quite frankly, as being the first one in my family to create this professional pathway and creating and building a career has been building those relationships and being ruthlessly honest in what I don't know and what I'm not comfortable with. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Do not be afraid to ask questions because that has been one of the biggest things that helped me is being open and being curious and saying, you know what? I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. How do I navigate this? How do I try something new? How do I put myself in positions that I can experiment and decide what it is that I'm good at, what my strengths are, what my weaknesses are? And you have to tap into those around you to help you understand what those opportunities are. But always be curious, always be honest about what you want to learn and what you're curious to learn.
Great point. Catherine?
It's really hard to go last because they kind of stole all my points. But just to kind of give some advice that once you are in the room, even if you internally are thinking, I don't know why I'm here, I don't know if I belong here, take advantage of every opportunity that you have once you get in that room. So talk to everybody, make sure you're leveraging relationships with people from the leadership level to people that are lower than you to people that are at the same level as you. You learn things from every single person within an organization that can help you in your career. And then another piece of advice too would just be that people take a lot more notice of the things that are outside of your normal job description. So if there is ever a chance to volunteer on a committee or be part of a program at a company that you're working for, always take the opportunity because sometimes that gets you noticed in ways that are going to be much faster than just your normal day-to-day job.
Thank you. Natasha, I want to move back to you because this next question I think has interesting meaning. You shared a story when we were on the phone prepping for this. But please share one pivotal networking experience and learning moment you had that had the greatest impact on your life. Now, you may have had others, but the one you told us on the phone was really, really cool.
So this is a funny one. We all talked on the phone, what was it, yesterday, 2 days ago, talking about pivotal moments in our careers, how we've leveraged our network. And we got the question, tell us about an impactful story about how someone in your network, you use the means in your network to get ahead. And I'm thinking, okay, guys, real talk, let me tell you the bike story. The bike story. So when I was in college,
That's a good story.
I'll keep it short. When I was in college, I didn't have a driver's license, and I still don't. I'm very proud of that. But I was working as a waitress. I was working in our law department, the library. I was like a pseudo librarian at one point, which was really fun. Learned about the Dewey Decimal System. And so I was trying to pay my way through college. I had student loans. They were very real. They were very adamant about me making that monthly payment. And so I knew to get ahead and to build my career, eventually I would need a professional internship. So I applied to this place called Morgan Stanley Smith Barney. And I got accepted, which was great, except that it was 3.5 miles from school. It was over the summer, and I was like, Uber does not exist yet, so I don't know how I'm gonna get here. And someone from my network, a professor, lent me a spare bike that he had and a helmet, and he was like, go forth. Go forth into the world, get your exercise, get that internship, get that credential on your resume. And that's what I did every day, Monday through Friday. It happened to be a very rainy summer, which was interesting. But I rode that bike, and I will never forget that moment, because to this day, if I tell you, when I see a bike, I have slight PTSD, but I also have flashbacks of getting myself to this very real and critical moment in my career that opened the pathway for everything that came after. Probably still one of the most important connections I've made, because from that internship, I was able to get another job in an office, which led me to the company that I'm at now. So when people talk about leveraging their network and networking and mentors, it doesn't have to come in the shape of wearing a fancy suit or a nice, office blazer. It could be, here's a helmet and a bike, and go kick ass.
Great story. That's a great story. Catherine, I want to come back to you because, and you can talk about how you leveraged your network, but one of the things I was fascinated in speaking with you about was you knew early on the path that you're on was the path for you. Can you talk about that and how you leveraged your network along the way?
Absolutely. So I went to Stonehill College, which is in Easton, Massachusetts, and I went in as a finance and accounting major thinking that I was going to crunch numbers, I was going to make a lot of money, and I was going to be really good at it. Unfortunately, I was not good at it at all. My professors kind of pulled me aside towards the end of my freshman year saying, we know you're really trying, but you might need to rethink your future. So I kind of left my summer after my freshman year feeling a little bit confused about what was going to be my next step. I ended up taking a job down the street from my house just because it was simply easy to get to. I could walk there, and it was at Partners Healthcare, a home care division, a small office. I ended up falling in love with the job and the culture and the climate of healthcare so much that I found that I wanted to change my area of study to healthcare. My senior year, when it was time for me to get an internship, we had to do it as a requirement for our program. I really didn't know what I was going to do. I started talking to people within my office at Partners, and they said, you do realize that we have 1 million hospitals and we have all these different corporate resources and we can help you. So they helped me get an internship over at Mass General, and this time it was in human resources, which was something that was a little bit different. I've never really thought about it before, but just kind of fell in my lap. And then from there, I knew that I wanted to do not only healthcare, but I wanted to do human resources in healthcare. And so ultimately, when I graduated, they helped me network even more, and I landed the job at the company that I am at today, which is the corporate entity.
Fantastic. Y'all, what do you think? That's a great story. Jaquel, and then I'm going to come to you, Representative Vargas. Jaquel, when we were speaking, and you kind of got me fired up over the phone. It was awesome. Someone that's not historically from Boston, not from our community, fell in love with it and is now permanently planted in our city. Can you talk about how you came to that decision and how you use your network along the way?
Hello? Okay, here we go. So I mean, like I said earlier, my network has come into play at very varying different points. So after college, when I was in teaching, I really knew that working with young people was what I wanted to do as long as I possibly can. And I originally thought that the place to do that was in a classroom, right? That's your first thought, work with young people, work in a classroom. And I really enjoyed working with young people, but recognized that like that really wasn't the space that I felt like I wanted to do that work. So when I was teaching, I was working at a year-round school, and so every time we'd have a break, I'd take a trip to Boston or Cambridge. So like 4 times a year, I was here, and every single time I would connect with this advisor of mine from college named Robert Bridgman. We would just catch up, and every single time he'd be like, so when are you coming back to Boston? Every single time. And so I came back for a summer to do a policy and advocacy fellowship, being like, you know what, maybe this is where I want to impact like the youth space, is like through policy and advocacy. And I got placed with a community organization in that space. And so I was connecting with Robert when I came back, and I was like, I can't get in touch with him. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get in touch with him. But I was like, I'll figure it out. So I went back to stop at the organization that I used to work with in undergrad, where I met Robert in the first place. It's called Cambridge Youth Enrichment Program through the Phillips Brooks House Association at Harvard. Some of you may know about PPHA. Hopefully, it's great, it's awesome, get involved. And I happened to go there to see a young person who used to work as a junior counselor when I was there as a director, who had then moved into the role of a director. So again, that movement through an organization that way. And while I was there, who turns up at PPHA or CYP but Robert? So I'm just chatting with him, and at this point, I'm like, I'm going back to North Carolina. My family already misses me. Let me go and figure this out. And Robert is like, you know, just consider, there's this organization that I know called Teen Empowerment, and I feel like you'd be a good fit. And I was like, okay, cool. I guess. I'll go to this interview. That's cute. Like, maybe it'll be fine. I walked into my interview, and I walked out of it, called my mom, and said, if I get this job, I'm staying in Boston. And so about a week later, I get the call that I got this job, and it has been amazing. And I still actually get to work with Robert because he does some work at Teen Empowerment as well. So it was a relationship that started in my junior year of college that, again, it was just, you know, let's hang out, let's grab lunch, whatever. It wasn't any sense of like, I made this relationship so that I could get this job later on, but it was just having that person in my life consistently that then led to me finding this amazing job that I love so much.
Awesome, awesome story. Yeah, great story. You know, the moral of that story is you're gonna run across people right now in your life. Don't take any relationship, any exchange for granted, especially the ones in this program, because you don't know who's gonna come back later on and can make an impact on your life. So, Representative Vargas.
I was demoted.
Yeah, I have a relationship with Congressman Richie Neal. I'll make sure I mention you to him.
That's good networking. Thank
you're great networking. There it is, right there. In speaking with you, one of the things I was really fascinated about was you told a story about the light went on for you early in impacting and shaping legislation. Can you talk about that? And then maybe how along the way you leveraged your network to get to where you are today?
Sure. So I think I mentioned earlier, I got involved when I was 16 years old with a group called Teens Leading the Way, which brings young people out to Maine for a retreat and ask them what type of public policy they want to work on at the State House. So I was 16, and we ran through a whole bunch of issues from police community relations, climate change, gun violence, you name it. And at the end of the working session, we all kind of looked around at each other and we said, none of these issues matter unless we have an informed and engaged electorate that knows how to move these issues. Unless we as young people and the citizens out there know how to mobilize, how to activate a coalition that can actually get things done. And so we drafted legislation to make civic education a graduation requirement across the Commonwealth. And I remember walking into the State House for the first time at 16 years old, super cynical. I was like, these politicians just want to take pictures with us, cute teenagers, that's all it is. But the reality is that they actually listened to us. We filed a bill, we gained 48 co-sponsors on that bill, bipartisan support. We moved the bill through committee. We provided testimony for the bill, the first rap testimony at a public hearing in Massachusetts history. The bars weren't that good. But that experience captivated me into the legislative process. I went on to BU and I did internships both on the House side and the Senate side, and then decided to go down to DC and study abroad there because BU had a great study abroad program down in DC. I applied for a White House internship because my mom has a saying that goes, soñar no cuesta nada, which is to dream doesn't cost anything, so you might as well apply. And lo and behold, got in. And luckily, BU's study abroad package includes your financial aid for what you got to stay on campus. So I was able to transfer my financial aid package to DC, had housing down there. The only challenge was that the White House internship was 60 hours a week, and I wasn't getting paid for it. And I had to take 4 classes while doing that. So I had been really intentional about developing relationships with my professors here on campus so that I could take 2 directed studies while I was down in DC so that I could manage my time a little bit better. So I'd work 60 hours at the White House, take 2 classes in person, and then do 2 directed studies on my own time on the weekends. But that opportunity doesn't come up unless I have those relationships with those professors to be able to say, hey, I think I can create my own course by doing this, 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 and this. And the other thing I'll say is one pivotal moment for me while I was at the White House, all the interns get to hear from the administration officials. So we heard from the First Lady, she was my favorite, Joe Biden, the Chief of Staff, all sorts of folks. And President Obama came to speak to us with about 2 weeks left in the internship. Many of us were second semester seniors in college thinking about what was next. Because it's like, what do you do after this? You know, I'm a White House intern. Do we stay in the administration? Do we go somewhere else? And one of my peers asked the president the existential question that we were all thinking about. She said, you know, Mr. President, what's the key to living a fulfilling life? And the president sort of paused. He leaned in and he said, you know, look, let me be clear. He said, I practiced that a little bit.
That's pretty good, yeah.
He said, the key to living a fulfilling life is don't think about who you want to be. Think about what you want to do. Because ever since we were this tall, we've been asked, do you want to be a lawyer, a doctor, a congressman, a CEO, a scientist? And that's great to have titles, right? But we're not pushed further and asked, what do you want to do with those titles? So are you the scientist that cures cancer? Are you the congressman that works for working people? Are you the attorney that fights for climate justice? Those are specific things that you want to do with those positions. And instead, what we have nowadays in Congress is a bunch of people that woke up one day and said, I want to be a congressman. And that became their whole purpose in existence. And so naturally, if only the title is your goal, then you become vulnerable to things that aren't true to who you are. And so think more about what you want to do and less about who you want to be. And so that was a pivotal moment for me, and I started to think more about whether or not I wanted to stay in Washington. I started going through my social networks and seeing what was going on back at home in Haverhill. Teachers were some of the lowest paid in the Commonwealth. A friend of mine had lost a family member to the opioid crisis. And so I came back home after graduation, and I drove around town, and I saw that not much had changed. I looked at what our elected leadership looked like. The average age on the city council was 62. There was not one person of color to elected office, despite about 20% of the population being Latino and upwards of close to 40% of our student population being Latino. So after 2 months after getting my degree from this university, I marched down to City Hall with my big, loud Dominican family. It was the most embarrassing thing ever, to pull nomination papers. We went down with the guira and tambora and everything. It was, the city clerk was like, I didn't know the Dominican Day Parade was today. Like, this is crazy. And that was just to pull nomination papers. So we had to go out and get signatures after that. And we did. And I ran for city council, and I became my community's first Latino elected official at 22 years old.
Let's give him a hand. That's great.
But that doesn't happen without the networks that I cultivated along the way, the professors, the relationships, and most importantly, the time I took to reflect. Because we go really fast, right? We want to work harder than anybody else. We want to be busy all the time. And being busy is like a badge of honor for us, right? Because I'm busy and I don't have time for this, this, and this. But take time to reflect and think about what's important to you. Because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be back at home right now. I wouldn't be a state representative right now. And then the last thing I'll say is that your networks and your quote unquote assets and capital are more than just monetary, they're more than just professional. Think about the different assets that you have in your life. Being a young person is an asset. You know how to use social media in the digital age. Having a big family can be an asset. My family, despite my aunts and uncles being, one on the left and one on the far right, came together for my campaign and spray painted my lawn signs because we didn't have money to buy lawn signs. That is an asset, right? That is a network as well. So don't think of network as just in the formal sense. Think of the different ways that you have assets and networks in your lives.
I have a funny feeling you're going to be my congressman one day. So let's give them all a hand real quick. So listen, in the interest of time, because if we open it up for questions, I got a funny feeling we're going to blow our time commitment to get to the next part of the program. So I'm just going to ask each of the panelists in 30 seconds to just describe how you're opening up your network today to young people like that are in the audience.
Because I work in HR, and not the kind of HR that gets you in trouble, but the HR that hires people, the fun side of HR, I'm constantly doing events that are either hiring events or events in our community, because at Partners Healthcare, our priority is our patients, and we want people that are going to be working in our facilities that reflect the patients that we are serving. So it's really important to us. Community is one of our pillars. So I try to get out to as many events as possible, just because I can directly impact the hiring process. And I think it's important to have people that are working for us, that live here, that have grown up here, and are going to continue to stay with us and grow our communities.
Fantastic. Natasha.
So working in research and development, I'm in a very special place where I can help point the compass of the company to say, where are we lacking resources? Where are we not helping people who do not have access to the same financial products that our customers do now? And surprise, that includes a lot of the youth, millennial generation, Generation Y. Second to that is that I'm hiring for that team. And I plan on hiring as diverse as possible, because we need more women in tech. We need more people of color in tech. So that is a personal mission of mine.
Thank you. Representative Vargas.
So a couple things. Similarly, trying to open up all of our internships in our office to everybody, putting them out as far and as wide as possible, extending application deadlines. We've done as much as we can to try to diversify our interns and have as many interns as possible every single semester. So if you're interested, definitely reach out to my office. That also applies to the campaign side of things. And then secondly, legislation. I think when we think about expanding networks for young people and empowering young people, we have to be intentional about the fact that there's a system in place right now that disproportionately affects some young people more than others, and also just young people in general. We're the first generation in a long time to statistically be worse off than our parents. We're starting life out with thousands of dollars in student loan debt. So there's legislation that we're working on to make sure that when you guys come into the workforce, hopefully you're not coming in with hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars in student loan debt. And then finally, just a quick plug, because these are two pieces of legislation that are really important to me. One is we're trying to get paid internships back at the State House.
Yeah.
If you can do unpaid internships, absolutely do them. They're still worth it in the long run. But the reality is that it's not for everybody, and it's not possible for everybody, because not everybody has the privilege of taking an unpaid internship, right? Some of you are supporting your families at home as well. So that's one thing. If you want to get involved in that, let us know. And then lastly, we have a bill that has bipartisan support to let cities and towns lower the voting age to 16 for municipal elections. And there's plenty of research to back that up, and I'm happy to talk more about that. But when we talk about building power for young people, it's got to start at the municipal level, and school committee, city council, mayoral races are really great ways to introduce young people to the power that they have. So don't forget it.
Okay, thank you. Jaquel.
All right. Well, I'm very lucky because my job is to do that, right? So I get to work with young people every day and think about not just where I want to see them go, but where do they see themselves move and change in the community that they live in. And so I would say that in both my personal and professional life, I think the most important thing that I can do that is to listen and to learn. And so a lot of the times, a lot of adults in young people's lives can do a lot of directing young people to what to do. And although my job is technically a director, I would consider myself a listener and a facilitator of people. So really wanted to connect, whether it be the networks I have in education, whether it be networks I have from Harvard, whether it be networks that I have from just personal friends and connections. My biggest thing is to listen to what people need, especially young people that are around me, and try to connect as much as I can to the networks that I have, because networks are really worthless if you're not doing anything to use them, right? And so doing that as much as I can, whether it be through like teaching, whether it be through the work that I do with Teach for America and like the alumni there, but just trying to find as many spaces I can get into where I can talk to young people, where I can listen to young people, and where I can connect those young people to the networks that I have.
Fantastic. I think all 4 of them just became part of your networks. If you agree, round of applause. All right. And lastly, I'll say, I work for a company called NFP. I am on LinkedIn, Michael James at NFP. I want to be a part of your networks. Reach out, connect with me, and I'll make sure I reach back and connect with you. Lastly, I'd like to thank Mary Ann, the entire team at John Hancock for helping to put on this program this summer and this part of the program today. I'd also like to thank each of the panelists. You're awesome. You're awesome in what you're doing. You're awesome to share your time, and thank you for being here today. Now, we're going to shift gears, and we're going to move next door for the next part of your day. But lastly, I want you to give them all a round of applause, and let's close this out the right way. Thank you very, very much.
Good morning, scholars. Oh, that was sad. Good morning, scholars. Hi, I am Shiona D. Carvalho. I'm the director. Ow! Yay! Those are my peeps. I'm Shiona D. Carvalho. I am the director of Impact and Yes Academy at Youth Enrichment Services.
And I'm Ethan George. I'm the Volunteer and Adventure Programs Manager at Yes.
And we are here today to talk to you about networking. How many of you were here last summer as a scholar and remember your workshop about networking? How many of you? Nice. Awesome. Okay.
There's a few. That's great. So if you were here last year, you might have a little head start on this stuff, but you will notice that a lot has changed. We have a really big, fun event, activity that'll happen toward the end of the networking program. So get ready for that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay. So today, the first thing we're going to do is introduce a very special guest. And then once you have met this very special guest, you are going to introduce yourselves at your table so that you can get to know each other at the table. But we're going to throw it right back so we can get to know our new guest.
Thank you very much. You know, talking about networking, we have some great Boston partners that are here today. You may have seen him in the room, but we have Chief Marty Martinez here from the city of Boston. And we also have, as mentioned, a special guest that's about to speak, a good friend of John Hancock, a strong champion of young people who make sure that youth of Boston have access to every opportunity that they can. So please, let's give a nice warm MLK Scholars cheer for our mayor, Mayor Marty Walsh.
Thank you very much, Seth. And how's everyone doing today? I walked in the room and I felt like everyone felt like you just woke up and you're chilling out. Is that true? You just woke up a little while ago? You were in bed an hour ago? You're not in bed anymore. You're here at BU. So how's everyone doing today? How's the summer going? How's work? Everyone get a first paycheck yet? When's your first paycheck coming? Today? Are you taking me to eat tonight? No? How come? We should go eat something tonight. Well, let me just before I get into my remarks, let me just thank all the. I want to thank BU. I want to thank Partners Healthcare. I want to thank Boston Globe. I want to thank John Hancock. I want to thank all the people who put this together. Every year, one of the things that we do throughout the course of the year, when the summer ends and you guys go back to school, one of the things we start to do is think about how do we make summer employment happen, and how do we make sure that next year that there's good opportunities for people. And I know that many of you in the room here, you're working in an office, right? Who's working in an office? Does everyone work in an office? Raise your hand if you work in an office. All right, raise your hand if you're outside. Raise your hand if you're working tomorrow. No one's working tomorrow? Okay, so make sure if you work, drink a lot of water tomorrow. So one of the things, the opportunities that the summer job program presents is a chance to see what an industry's like, see what a job you might want to do when you graduate college is like. When I was a kid growing up, we had summer jobs, but our summer jobs were mostly outside. They really didn't have office jobs. They didn't have relationship jobs. They didn't have jobs at John Hancock and all the great companies that we have in the city of Boston today. And you're probably looking today saying, you know, we're here today doing our thing and having a good day. You probably don't realize as the summer goes on, you're making connections, you're networking, you're reaching out to people. And this is a good opportunity for all of you to think about what you want to do. How many people in this room know, how many seniors in this room, rising seniors? How many, way to go. How many juniors in this room? Any freshmen? Sophomores? I should have said sophomores. Freshmen? Did I miss anybody? How many graduates in this room? All right, graduates, keep your hand up. Keep your hand up. Graduates, keep your hand up. How many graduates that are going to college in September? Keep your hand up if you're going to college in September. All right. Put your hands down if you don't mind. Those graduates that aren't going to college in September, put your hands up. Okay, whatever you do next, if you're thinking of taking a time off for a gap year or you're thinking about, you're not sure what you want to do, make sure you stay focused. Make sure you stay connected to your schools. Make sure you understand because something has to happen. You have to do something that's next because it really is really important. When I graduated high school, I was a horrible student in high school. And when I say horrible, I graduated, but I just barely got out. And partly because I was focused on, I love working. When I say making money, I wasn't rich. I was working in a store, but I love working. And when I put my attention to work, I was a great person, a great employee. When I was in school, putting my attention to my books, I wasn't as focused. And I felt like, well, how come I can't get focused here, but I get focused over there? And I found what interests me. So I went to Quincy Junior College after high school because I couldn't get into Suffolk University. I tried to get into Suffolk, and I got a rejection letter. I don't know if anyone's got a rejection letter, but they can be tough. And I got a rejection letter, and I'm like, man, I wanted to go to Suffolk. But then I thought about dropping out of school, and I said, I'm going to go work construction because my father was a construction worker, and he could have got me on a job. And what I did was, instead of going to work construction, I went to Quincy Junior College. And I did that college for a year, and when I did the college, I was like, wow, I can do the work because I was getting good grades. So in high school, my grades weren't good, but in college, my grades were good because I understood that it was a little different. And it was, you just get treated differently when you walk in the front door. And then after that, I went to, the next year, I got accepted to Suffolk University, and I was excited, and I went to Suffolk. And I was there for a semester, and when I was there for that semester, my brain started to wander. And what happened was my brain started to go like I wanted to make money. And I quit school after a semester. And I said in my head, well, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to go back to, because I need my college degree, because I would have been the first in my family to get a degree, because my parents come from Ireland, and my mother and father both had like a 6th grade education, and they wanted me to go to college because they wanted me to do what the American dream's all about. And I went to work construction. And when I was out working construction, I was hanging out, and I thought it was cool because I was making all kinds of money. I bought a brand new car, and 2 years later, I bought another brand new car, and I bought whatever I wanted to buy, and I had all kinds of money in my pocket, but I had no direction in my life. I was working, but I had no direction in my life. At the same time, when I was doing that, I started partying with my friends and having a good time with my friends. And the partying with my friends started to churn on me because I was drinking, and I was young, underage first, and then I was 21, 22, and the drinking was starting to react to me a little differently because I was doing something something happened to me. It was called the blackout. I don't know if you know what a blackout is, but when you drink a lot and you just black out and you just go blank, except your body's still functioning, you're still talking to people. And I would do things when I was drinking that I would never do when I wasn't. And I would say things to different people and hurt different people, and I realized that, you know, this went on for a long time. And around the age in my mid to late 20s, now I don't have a college degree. I'm working in an office. I have a car. I have no direction. I'm not doing what I wanted to do when I was your age. I wanted to be in politics at your age. But I wasn't doing what I wanted to be. I wanted to be held responsible. I wanted to be suit and tie, and I wanted to be somebody, whatever that meant. And I found myself at a detox. I don't know if you know what a detox is. A detox is where you go when you have a problem with drugs and alcohol. And my first night in the detox, I was sitting in there, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Because to my left was an alcoholic, and to my right was a drug addict. And my right person had marks on their arm, and a guy over here, he had one eye because he blew his eye out with a shotgun. And I'm like, I don't belong here. And I did belong there. And I realized about what alcoholism is. And everyone in this room, not everyone, a lot of you in this room understand what alcoholism is because we see it, we feel it sometimes at home, and we see it and feel it at home. But we ignore it. We say it's not going to be us. And we turn out that it becomes us. And when I got out of detox, I started to think about my life and where I am in my life. And I said, Jesus, I'm 28 years old. I'm old. I should be somewhere else. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't have a college degree because I dropped out of college. I'm working in a job that I hate. I'm not doing what I want to do as a person. And when I was a young person, I had dreams and goals and aspirations, and those things seemed to be out the window. A few months later, it did suck. A few months later, a year and a half later, I was running for state representative in my district. The local representative left, and I ran for state representative. And I also had gone back to Boston College. I went to Boston College, and I said, I signed up for night school, and I said, I want to get my college degree. And I ran for state representative, and I won state representative. And I was going to college at night, and I was working in the day at the State House. And I did that, and I got my college degree. And one of my proudest moments was when I got the college degree because people told me I would never go back to school. People told me that I would not be able to do what I want to do. And I kind of just threw away all my dreams and aspirations and goals. And when I did that, when I went back to school, when I got my degree that night, I remember when I left the school that night, I was so excited because it was a long haul. Don't go to school the way I did. I went to school for a lot of years, double-digit years, for college degree. I was probably in college as much as I was in kindergarten to 12th grade, including 2 stints in 5th grade, because Sister Mary Lord loved me so much, she decided for me that was a good idea for me to stay behind in 5th grade. And then in 2013, I had the chance to run for mayor of the city of Boston. And when I think about my life today, and I think about what I've been able to experience and the people I've been able to meet and the things I've been able to do were really important. The college the seniors, the high school graduates that raise your hand, you're about to embark on a very important part of your life. Whether you're going to college, you're going to work. This is an opportunity for you right now. High school years are difficult. They're tough. 9th to 12th grade is tough. They're not easy. Some people in this room will say, we had an unbelievable experience and you were crying at graduation, and some of you are like, thank God I got out of this place. That's how it is. But you have a chance in your life to do some amazing things. And what this program does, what we're doing with what you're doing here today, this program is about laying down a foundation for you to be able to be successful down the road. The freshmen in this room, you might be sitting there going, what's he talking about? You might not know until you're sitting here as a senior realizing, oh, I know what he's saying now. The juniors in this room, you should have an understanding of what I'm talking about. Seniors definitely have an understanding of what I'm talking about because you're going into a year this year that you're going to have some big decisions to make as you move forward. It makes a difference what happens. These programs and the people that are going to talk to you today, they're not doing it because they have to do it. They're doing it because they want to do it. I know a few minutes ago, I think Marianne Harris spoke to you. Did Marianne speak? Marianne Harris spoke to you. She was standing on the stage. I don't know if she said this. Marianne Harris is the CEO of John Hancock. As you clearly know, Marianne Harris is a woman. As you clearly know that 20 years ago, there was no way probably that a woman CEO of John Hancock was going to stand on the stage and talk to you. In 20 years, that's all changed. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you would never say that we'd have an African-American president of the United States of America. That would just not happen. Maybe Congress and maybe the Senate, maybe some mayors and different people, but not the president of the United States of America. If the president was standing here, Barack Obama, and he was talking about that, he would say to you that that was his dream and aspiration as he got older to move forward to follow his dream. There's a pattern here. The people that are here today are here to help you and to be supportive of you. You are the future, whether you like it or not, or you realize it or not. You are the future of Boston. Some of you are going to be police officers. Some are going to be nurses. Some are going to be doctors. Some are going to be elected officials. Some are going to be executives. Whatever it is you do, it's part of a society that's going to make life incredible. I'm here today just to come by and say hello and thank you. Because when I see this crowd here of all of you, I'm proud of all of you. I don't know everyone personally. I see a lot of you in schools and at the West End House and at the Boys and Girls Club in Dorchester and different places. I see a lot of you. But I'm proud of you because I stand with you and behind you and in front of you and with you every day because you are the future of our city. There's a lot at stake. You pay attention to the national politics. You hear all of the rants and raves that's going on a national level, and it's frustrating, and it's hurtful, and it's sad, and you experience some of it yourself. But there's an opportunity. You have an opportunity as young leaders in this city to do amazing things. And I want you to do amazing things. And I want you to try to do amazing things. And if you try for something, it doesn't happen, it's okay. It's okay because you tried. But if you don't try for something and you don't get it, you're going to sit there and say, I should have, I should have, I should have. If I didn't go to detox, something I didn't want to do, I would probably be right now, at 52 years old, working in the construction industry, in an office, thinking to myself, this is not where I wanted my life to be. This is not where I want to be. I'm making a living and I'm raising family, I'm doing all that stuff, but this is not where I want to be in my life. So the message is, make sure you pursue your dreams. Make sure you go out there and follow your dreams. Those of you out there that think I'm, you whatever, you want me to stop talking, that's fine, but also I want you to follow your dreams as well. I want you to pursue what you have. I want you to ask questions. I don't know if anyone saw, there was a special the other day. Anyone see a special on ESPN with Chris Herron? Nobody in the room. Chris Herron's a friend of mine. Chris Herron is a person that's from Fall River, Massachusetts. He's the all-time leading scorer in high school basketball in the Commonwealth. He got drafted by the Denver Nuggets, played for Boston College, played for Fresno State, drafted by the Denver Nuggets, played for the Boston Celtics, and drug addiction ended his career. And he talks about, he's sober now, he's sober about 10 years, and he's talking about his life and the choice and the challenge he has to make. And he talks to young people around the country. Anyone here Chris Herron speak at your school? Who's heard him? Anyone else? Anyone from the Burke here? We got a couple Burke there where he spoke at the Burke. I think he spoke at Madison Park. He spoke at a bunch of places. His story is real. And his story he's telling his story because he wants to let people know the pain that he experienced. He doesn't want other people to experience it. At the end of the documentary, if you get a chance to see it, watch it. It's called First Day. At the end of the documentary, what he talks about is people that are struggling with whatever it is. Struggling with addiction, struggling with alcoholism, struggling with stuff at home, struggling. Make sure you talk to somebody. Make sure you take the time out to talk to somebody. There is somebody in your life, and he said this the other night, there is somebody in your life that loves you. It might be a teacher, your guidance counselor, your parent, your grandparent, a friend, whatever it might be. Make sure that if there's something out there that you're trying to deal with, you're struggling with, make sure you talk to somebody. While you're working this summer, there are people that work with you every single day that want to see you successful. So in saying all that, I had a speech prepared, and I did not talk about anything in my speech. I'm supposed to talk about financial literacy. Listen to what they say here today, because I can tell you when I was in high school, I didn't save a nickel. As soon as I got a check, I went to the store, I bought stuff, I paid stuff, I had new sweatshirts and new sweatpants and new sneakers and new this and new that and new headphones and all this other stuff. That's what I did. Learn about financial literacy, because as you think about college, it's going to be important for you. Learn about networking. Anyone in this room know what networking is? How many people know? Raise your hand if you know what networking is. Okay. Raise your hand if you don't know what networking is. Networking is what you're doing today. You're talking to other people. You're making impressions on people, and you ask people questions. And you're going to learn about that today as the day moves on. Resume workshops, building a resume, making sure that the opportunity to build a resume. Building a resume saying, well, you know what I did in my resume? I hung out and I played Xbox in my house until I was about 18. And then at 19, I hung down the corner. That's not a resume. A resume is I worked here, I did this, I helped did different things, I got involved in different things. So you're going to learn about that today in this week. This is the 12th year of this program. Over 5,000 people have gone through this program before you, students before you that have gone through this program. Some of those people that have gone through you in this program work in City Hall. Some of those people that have gone through you work down in Washington, D.C., trying to straighten out the government. Some people that went before you are working in private industry here in Massachusetts. So I want to thank everyone. To the scholars here today, I want to say we are proud of you in Boston. I am proud of you. Everyone in this room, I'm so proud of who you are, what you are, where you come from, the neighborhood you come from, and who you represent. You represent the city of Boston. Wherever you go to school, you represent the city of Boston. I want you to remember that when you go around. You represent the city of Boston. You are part of the city. So when we're in a bad time in the city of Boston, you represent us in the sense of how do we make changes for the positive? How do we make sure the challenges that young people have in coming in the future don't have to go through the same thing that you did or I did or other people did? I'm going to stop talking there. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Enjoy the week. Have a good weekend.